And I think a lot of tech founders don't understand that, financial services companies can be built with a high degree of profits. And there is almost a better way of building them. You don't have to burn a lot of money. Now, sometimes it's justified if you're pursuing a, call it a very interesting or different strategy. But in many cases, I don't think founders fully internalize that.
I think that burning money is the fastest way to stop your brain from working.
Correct,
Right?
100%.
Because it stops all your creativity, right?
Yeah. You solve problems through money. Correct.
Yeah, if you throw money at the problems never go away. They just hide for a bit, right? And they come back.
Yeah.
But unless you solve it, for example, like if you tell the team that, hey, what if we had to earn negative CAC, then what would we do? And suddenly new sets of ideas come because it's the fastest way to becoming dumb. And I'm not saying that I have figured it out. I'm just saying I know it internally and I'm self-aware to know that more capital in the company has only made company do stupid stuff on a more regular basis. Thankfully, I have the luxury of all the experiences of many founders that I've invested in, of my own money raising capital. Like, for example, every time we raise money, we do not celebrate it as a culture, right?
No, not only that, what people probably don't appreciate or know about Cred is that last time around when you raised, call it 80 or 90 million, you were probably offered 4 or 5 times of that, right? And you chose to keep your round fairly limited in size for the scale of company you're trying to build. And the same thing for the current round of financing, right? Which I thought leaked or whatever. But the point is, people might think of it as high raise and burn, but they may not fully appreciate is that you're actually saying no to hundreds of millions of dollars of additional investment for the same reason you mentioned earlier, which is that you don't want to burn all this equity.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've rarely seen money solving problems, right? It can be a catalyst to an existing solution that accelerates, but money by itself never is a solution.
Yeah, totally. Especially in financial services, very relevant because I feel like in some other forms of tech businesses, you can argue for a very deep J-curve, gestation period, and so on. I think in financial services, we tell all founders, be as prudent as possible. And to your point, Kunal, I think burning money becomes cultural, unfortunately. People justify it through logic, but I think actually it becomes deeply cultural in a company.
That's a very interesting thing. So, Shanada, think about this. There are so many founders in India who've never made a profit in their life.
Correct.
Okay. Fortunately, there are people like me or Vijay who ran companies which were profitable before, right? And I think, imagine this, we start from the same starting point, and every time these founders got more recognition, more awards for burning more money, and Correct. Then burning more money. And what is their incentive to suddenly become profitable, right? So the question is that, what are we celebrating, right? Like, why should we celebrate? Why should we should give awards to founders like Nitin from Zerodha, who's not burnt money and built this particular platform for whatever he's done. Now the thing is that unfortunately, the media will recognize all these high burn people and put their photographs on the front page, which I personally think is a very bad thing because everybody thinks that raising money is the milestone, which is not the milestone.
No, agree completely. And by the way, also very worrisome. We are again in a hot market. Lots of capital is flowing in. Mega rounds are getting raised. My number one source of worry right now, paranoia, is, once people get $200, $300, $400 million in the bank, or even 100, what they next do is they try to figure out how long should it last. And I always tell founders, no, if you raise $200 million, that should be the last money that you ever raised, right? And that's plenty of capital to build most businesses in the world. But somehow the way to your point, because capital raising has become symbolic of success, and the signaling power of that is helpful. That has become somewhat of at least a transient end unto itself, which I hope. I think there are lots of, while there's Nitin, and again, incredible of him to have bootstrapped it. There's also many other founders now, as you know. Pine Labs in our portfolio has built profitably for the last many years. So I do think as our ecosystem matures, I think there are many more founders who are understanding this importance of building pretty frugally and sensibly.